let's talk about probably the biggest news of the week, and that is that Steam Alpha has officially launched on Chrome OS.
Yes,
And
it's finally here.
It is here, and we did a video.
Yeah,
it works.
all the talking like that we did for so long. Golly, how long have we been talking about Borealis?
Gosh.
It feels like
it's been 2 years.
Let's go back. I mean, I remember some of the first, when you all first started talking about Borealis, I was trying to wrap my head around the layers of what go into this.
Yeah,
we'll
the
find
number
it.
of articles that we would have. It
Yeah,
would take me a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know that the conversation with Con and David Ruddick happened at was that
Google's,
in New York?
I think it was Google's event, 2019. So it'd have been the same year. Gosh, was that the same as the Pixel Slate?
So yeah, it's been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming. And that's the funny thing. Like, there's certain things like, oh, we're going to start working on this. And you're like, oh, cool. Like, probably in like a year or something.
Yeah, because at
that's
that point,
what we felt like.
Yeah, the conversation at that point was, hey, we're talking to Valve about bringing support. At that point, it was probably literally just a conversation. Like, hey, do you think we could do this? Because we didn't actually see Borealis until 2020.
Yeah, it was 6-8 months.
Do you think they knew all along that they were going to do it with containers the way that they did?
I don't
with these
know,
virtual
because
machines?
Linux was still very early beta at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's probably if no one would ever, I don't know, maybe years after it's done, they might sit down and tell us all the ins and outs. But for right now, they're probably not going to. I don't think it was something where like, hey,
someone from Valve, come on,
yeah,
let's chat.
I seriously doubt it was like, hey, we're going to do this, and all the stuff was existing, and they just executed the plan, and here we are.
Right.
Like, there is no way that happened.
No, especially how Chrome OS has evolved and the options that they now have.
Yeah, I mean, Crostini by itself has changed wildly just, since that happened. And I'm not saying it's using Crostini, but, just container technology on Chromebooks has changed.
That, and you think when this idea was first entertained, I mean, Intel's Iris Xe graphics were already in the works, but they weren't a thing, and they had no idea what type of horsepower they were going to have access to with Steam, because if they had launched Steam 2.5 years ago on the core devices that we had at that time, it wouldn't work. Yeah. No way. Not even
I found it January 2020. So
Okay.
he must talk to him at CES. Or off the record, because 2020 we were there.
Yeah,
that was right before the pandemic.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah,
Gabe was patient zero for Kentucky,
and I'm sure some of that
we don't know that for
slowed
sure,
all
maybe.
of this down.
Yeah.
I mean, likely the pandemic and then people working from home and all of that, just
because everything shifted to virtual work and offsite learning and all that stuff. So it probably got backburnered for a little bit.
Yeah,
I would think, because I don't think it took them that long to create this. But I mean, the interview we had today, again, not giving away too much of that, but talking with them about it, like, they're not shy in saying this is a massive undertaking. Like, what they've accomplished with this is they're not like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
We made this thing. Like, they're talking about it like this is a big technological thing. Like the hurdles we had to get through to make this work, and to virtualize Vulkan, and to virtualize GPU support and all that kind of stuff so that it's running native. He's like, it can't just run, it booted up. Like, it needs to run like it's running on this stuff. And I told him, like, flat out, when we loaded up the first couple games and they're playing on a Chromebook, like, it took me a minute to get out of the headspace of thinking that we were doing something like Stadia.
Right.
Like, to realize, that this is running on, this is no gimmick. Like, this game installed and is running on this Chromebook. Like, it was really surreal. It still is. Like seeing a game play. I was looking at the video and, like, it's just been so long.
Yeah, and it's funny because,
like,
I've seen some comments on the video, and it's not that they're negative, but it's people pointing out, frame rates, and that one guy commented about Day of Defeat, which is a game I have played for. It's what I cut my teeth on with Steam.
Right.
Is it as good as playing on a high-end Windows machine? No, it's not. But let's remember, this is alpha.
It's
and
alpha,
Google's
and
very clear that this is there's a lot of work left to be done, and the whole point of the alpha is so that they can iron out the details. And honestly, Day of Defeat's a 20-year-old game. There probably wasn't a whole lot of focus on making sure it worked well. It ran great, though.
Yeah,
it ran great.
And not to forget either that we're running this on, it's a high-end Chromebook, don't get me wrong, but it's an 11th gen, so it's the first generation of Xe graphics from Intel. And this is not what it's going to look like on Alder Lake devices that, honestly, I mean, from what we can tell, the benchmarks we've run absolutely put 11th gen Intel devices in the ground. I mean,
which is amazing because
faster.
11th gen did the same thing to 10th gen. The leaps that Intel has, I actually saw an article yesterday that said Intel may finally have the processes back under control, and I think they have. I think they've got things dialed back.
They were like, oh, we kind of have to. We
We
got to do something.
Eaten by arms.
Arms,
they're down
arms coming in quick.
They've got 7 or 4 or something coming.
They're going down to 4, I think, with the next one.
Yeah, so that's
Alder
Raptor
Lake
or Meteor Lake, I think.
And Alder Lake, because Alder Lake's 7.
Yeah, but whatever they're doing with these big cores, little cores, and the GPU and all that stuff, they've gotten over whatever that hurdle was, and the leaps and bounds they're getting, small core and big core, is phenomenal.
And now we're getting stuff like Steam that's leveraging some of that power. Like you said it today in our interview. Like there might be a scenario here soon where you're going to buy a Chromebook and you're thinking, okay, I need these better graphics. I need this better,
Right.
You're
I play this game on a regular basis on my Chromebook. So
I'm going to buy a specific device, a specific Chromebook for this
I can
task.
play Steam games.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend because it's just been so long in the works. You know, like we've been trying to play Android games or messing around with like web-based games and trying to get Crostini containers to run Steam, and
it's always just a little janky. It's
always been a lot janky.
And that's the thing. Yeah, and the work involved in here was so much more than just the work on Chrome OS, because Steam itself and Proton and Vulkan and just all of those in the Linux kernel, all of that stuff has been brought up along with it so that everything's compatible. And there were things that were missing that needed to be in place before Chrome OS could even start leveraging it. And now it's all there. It's just a matter of working out the kinks. And then developers can come along and say, okay, well, for my game, I need this specific tweak or whatever. So